Greetings and welcome to another episode of the All You Can Geek Gamecast, number 567. We are here today without Jim. Unfortunately, he is still, and if you listen to the movie cast, still working on his network. So good luck, Jim. We wish you the best, and hopefully
Thoughts and
you
prayers.
don't get swept away in the networking
Yeah.
drama that is there. But with me today is Tony Korkanakis,
Yo.
Mike Snitty,
What's up?
and myself, Corey Feinsod, your host. We have a bunch of news. There was the DC fandom, which they talked briefly about video games that we've already heard about, but we'll discuss it some more and see how that goes. But let's get into what we've been up to with gaming-wise. Mike, what have you been playing?
Well, something bad has happened.
Uh-oh.
Very bad. I have started to play, and I actually beat the campaign of Marvel's Avengers on Game Pass.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's so horrible, dude. What the heck?
It is horrible.
Why?
Because I kind of like it a little bit.
No way.
But and the worst part is it's on fucking Xbox, and I'm like playing the game like, oh, it'd be real cool if it was like a character I really liked here. Too bad. Too fucking bad. Because
So you're saying Spider-Man's not going to be on Xbox? Is he
unless
even
it's
on
some time
PlayStation yet?
thing. No, not yet. No, it's supposed to. I'm assuming it's their first paid expansion because all the other ones were free. Which don't give them credit for because everything is so predatory in this game at this point. Especially since they went on Game Pass, they instituted like XP boosts, which they said they wouldn't do explicitly. So now that they have a bunch of new eyes that for free, basically, in their game, in and on their game, they've added this pay to win bullshit. So yeah, but basically it was there. Me and my friend was on a whim. We're like, oh, let's just play it. And I did some tutorial mission with Iron Man. I'm like, oh god damn it, this isn't bad. So like, I kept going. I played through the campaign. And the campaign is pretty good actually in that game. It's not like great or anything, and it starts off very slow, but it it captures your attention. I'm surprised mostly by the environments because one of the criticism of the game, and it's, I think more for all the other missions, is that everything is very generic and like copy pasted and you just go into a lab, stand somewhere. But in the actual campaign, there's specific areas that are quite interesting to explore. Really, you get a little bit of that same vibe that you would get in like Mass Effect, really, because you're in a ship a lot, a, a central hub where things sort of change as the story goes on, and you can visit with other characters, see if they have new dialogue and stuff like that. And there's little nooks and crannies in the levels to explore, some Easter eggs. So it was actually better than I thought it would be, just visually and exploration wise. Um, the gameplay itself is okay, but unfortunately, all the best moves are hidden behind a lot of progression. But the characters are distinct so far, and they feel fun to play. Yeah, I mean, I did the campaign in I would say about like 15 hours, which is funny because it still starts very slow. I feel, but um, you get to like Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel. You play as her the most early in the game, and it was solid. So now I'm playing it some more, and we'll see if I want to do all the expansion missions. I did the main quest, but then there's the Hawkeye 1, Hawkeye 2 expansions.
I can't believe they
And
decided the first two DLC characters. Yeah, Hawkeye.
I don't know why exactly. And Black Panther with one, which I'm looking forward to. I'm gonna try to do
Wait,
them
is
in
that
order.
is that one still not out yet?
Black Panther is out, yeah.
Oh, okay. I
Black
was I
Panther is
thought it was
fully in the game. Yeah. What also bugs me a little bit though too, as far as characters missing, is the Hawkeye one takes place in the future wastelands of like Old Man Logan.
Hmm.
Like, why would you do that? Why would you? Whatever. Maybe Wolverine someday, if this game survives another year or two, will show up in this game. He's not linked to Sony or anything, but So yeah, unfortunately, I'm kind of into
Yeah.
this game now, and
Yeah.
it is frustrating.
I mean,
I'm
that's what
someone
they
who has
wanted.
both.
That's why
I
they put it
know,
on Game
but
Pass. So,
as someone who has both systems, I thought, oh, I don't care if something's exclusive anymore. But they found a way to fuck me here, and they did it.
yeah. Well,
Um, I mean, and it almost it I'm begrudgingly like say the game is okay because it again it's so predatory the way they have it set up right now. It's annoying. Um,
Yeah.
well, yeah. I mean,
but yeah,
that's what free to play is these days. So
it's not even free to play.
it is free to play for you.
Well, yeah, but not
You still got
really.
to pay for it.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be. If I bought it, if it was truly free to play, then I would have just done it on the PlayStation for free.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's fair.
but and that also, and this is another problem. I went back and forth into story-based games. I finished the main campaign of Lost Judgment, um, and it was a
Hmm.
typical Yakuza bombastic, like you have to play for 2 hours straight finale. It was fun and good, but I have so many side activities and the entire school storyline, so much more to do that I didn't do. I put 45 hours in the game, beat the main story, and a few side quests and a few school missions, but there's large activities that I haven't even touched yet in the game, which is interesting. I don't know if it's structured the best because I feel like a lot of people said that some of the school stories has some of the best parts in the game. There's some more varied stuff. There's like a battle boss thing you do. There's boxing mini game, like skateboarding. I haven't done any of that. I started the like robot one just recently, and I feel like I spent a lot of time on that. So I'll go back and try to clear that out. But not try to clear that out. I want to actually see the varied stuff that makes the Yakuza games or Judgment.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I beat the story. The story was solid. I don't know if it's as compelling to me as the first Judgment, but it was good. Um, ended kind of predictably to me. After a while, you knew there was only about one way this would go, but it's solid. And so now I have like post game stuff for 2 games to play, and I don't know exactly which I'm going to prioritize. I'll probably bounce back and forth a little bit, but
I
that's
mean,
been
it's
it.
better than having nothing to play. So.
No, I mean
Yeah.
it's definitely it's a beyond the first world problem, but
Mm-hmm.
I am still frustrated with Avengers for getting me.
Yeah. How about you, Tony? What have you been up to?
In honor of Spooktober and continuing off of Metroid Dread, I picked up Alien Isolation since
Mm-hmm.
Epic Games has
Yep.
given that to me so generously at some point in time. I was like, you know what? I think it's time. Because I've heard great things about it since it came out in like I think 2014 or whatever like that.
I don't know if it's that old. I think it's. Oh, it could be. I don't. It's crazy. It's been a while for sure.
Yeah, but it's good. It definitely feels like Metroid in the sense that like you get tools that unlock areas that you may have passed before and stuff like that. This one, it's obviously like a monster movie, like a unstoppable creature kind of thing,
Right.
and those sequences are intense. Like the first time you see it, spoiler alert, you see the alien, you're like, fuck me, like absolutely fuck me, like don't come over this way and stuff like that. And I tried it on hard difficulty. So that used to be the hardest difficulty until like a year later after the release they introduced nightmare difficulty.
Hmm.
But I was like, nah, for first playthrough and like for hard, they're like, this is the recommended developer way to like difficulty to play the game. I'm like, okay, like I'll try this out, see what it's like. And this is actually what started to get me frustrated at the game. Because there are two sides to it. Like a lot of it's obviously exploration, puzzle based. Not puzzles, but like figuring out, how to get to the next area. Not like Zelda puzzles or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But there are human enemies because you're stuck on a colony, abandoned colony or outpost, whatever you want to call it. And obviously, like any post-apocalyptic scenario, humans are the real monsters. So you
No,
always
of
got to be
course.
careful of that. But when you get to the alien, the xenomorph, I'm conflicted, especially on this difficulty, because it is intense in that you're like, oh shit, like I need to be careful what I'm doing because it'll hear you doing things, and it'll come like investigate and stuff like that. But the thing is, with what I found to be frustrating was that they didn't give you enough time to do something. Like, let's say I got to a new area and there was like something I need to figure out how to get to the next area. Like, one of the cool things is they give you like that beep radar thing that you see in Alien and Aliens, like the motion detector. So you'll hear it like tick, and that's like to alert you that like, hey, the alien's probably coming back in this area. You might want to look at it and figure it out and stuff like that. So like I'll spend a minute trying to like figure out like, oh, I need to go get this key card to put it over here to access, whatever and stuff like that. But it's like super frustrating because like if the alien catches you, almost always it's an instant death. So it's like you'll be doing something and then, you hear him, so you're like, okay, I gotta hide or something like that. But if you didn't hide quick enough, or if he just felt extra curious or something like that, like apparently he can hear you breathing or something like that, or whatever, he can catch you and you just die. So it's like, fuck me. Like, all right, so I got to start this whole sequence again. And it's like, well, I know what to do for the first 2/3 of this area. It's just that last third. And you're just like, okay, alien, like, I know you got to prowl around for 2 minutes before you fuck off again. And then I get 1 minute to like do the gameplay thing. So that frustrated me after like 2 times of that, like 2 different areas. I was like, I'm bumping this down because it's not necessarily like it's too hard. It's just I'm too impatient for this right now. I'm just like, okay, and stuff like that. And apparently it gets crazy on nightmare mode because apparently xenomorphs have the ability to like smell your pheromones or whatever stuff like that. So like if you ever hide, like you pretty much might as well just get caught and die because like you just got to be like constantly moving. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like I'm like, I like that like tension, like in Resident Evil 2 and 3 where you have like Nemesis or the Tyrant and stuff like that. But I'm like, maybe that's a little too much for now and stuff like that. But other than that, the game's really good. It's very immersive. It takes place, I think, in an alternate timeline future where, spoiler alert,
yeah, this is Ripley's daughter.
So, stuff like that. But it's really fun. I'm enjoying it. That was like nitpick criticism and stuff like that. But other than that, voice acting is great. Environments are excellent.
How many characters are there? Like, it's just her, and then do you have other characters?
No, there are other characters. So you come with like 2 other characters, and spoiler, you get separated pretty much immediately at the beginning.
Isolation,
isolation, and stuff like that. And it's just funny because like you come across other characters, and it's just like, yeah, well, I'm the main character and you're not, so I know I'm gonna be okay. And you're not. And it really is interesting because like there's one time where I left the game running while I was like doing something, and like I don't know if the alien was supposed to be in this area because like it felt like it's like, oh, this is before I got to like the alien stuff. And look, but I saw him and I was like, you're probably gonna kill me if I come out, so I'm just gonna wait a little bit. And my friend confirmed it that had already played. She's like, yeah, no, if you don't get on like the train quick enough, he'll just come and kill you. And I'm just like, that's cool. I appreciate that, stuff like that. So I'm enjoying it. I think I'm like a third of the way through. I don't think it's like a long game or anything like that, which I'm enjoying. But yeah.
Well, this is assuming it's going to be a lot better game than Colonial Marines, which was canon for a little while.
Yes.
And,
you have your buddy Randy Pitchford to thank for that.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
there was some news about Randy Pitchford. I think he stepped down, right?
Did he? I didn't see any of that, actually.
Speaking of buddies, though, my good personal friend Troy Baker did okay as Bruce Banner in the Avengers game.
Oh, good to hear.
Yeah.
Nolan North less so as Iron Man. He was a little too over the top.
Nolan North?
Drake-y. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we didn't report on this. This is 2 weeks ago. Randy Pitchford is leaving Gearbox. Games to focus on Gearbox movies is still head of Gearbox overall. So, there you go.
Fuck that, man.
Cool. Gearbox news. Fitting it in. Good job, Randy. The porn star magician, or whatever.
Porn star
magician. What do we call that episode?
Yeah, something like that. That cam girl's a magician.
That's what it was, cam girl magician or something. Anyway, let's keep it going here. I have not played anything. Like I said, to be fair, I have played the Can I Find a PS5 game, and I have not won yet. So we'll see.
Rage quit.
Which is funny though. I told you about this, Tony. It's like they had them available today this morning, and it never showed up as I could add the bundle to my cart. But if you're on Chrome on a desktop, you could edit the code and just force it to show you the add to cart, in which people were doing, and they were getting their PlayStation. So good for them.
Hacker.
But I did not have that ability to do so until later, which then it was sold out by then. In any case, yeah. So I haven't really.
I feel we made out. I feel we
played...
made out though because we both got Xbox One Series X.
Yeah, no, I mean it's been fine. I'm not complaining. There's no rush. Like if it's available, if I can get it, that's fine. I'm not gonna spend after market prices. I did register on the PlayStation Direct thing where like, oh, you're interested in a PlayStation? Would you like to get an email potentially? It's like, yeah, sure, why not? So we'll see. No rush, but it would be nice because I don't currently have a PlayStation or Xbox in my house. I do have a Switch. I've been playing a little bit of Castle Crashers on that actually because my boys do like that game.
Yeah, that's a perfect one.
Yep, and Cuphead. Funny enough, like they love Cuphead, which they're terrible at. So I told them if they can't beat the tutorial, they can't play it. So. And then some more Tribes of Midgard on the PC. So that's where I'm at right now. My gaming life. Moving on into talking about hard games. Let's get into the news because we had a bit of a delay for Elden Ring, and it is like a month, but I don't really feel it. I don't feel like that was like ever coming when they said it was anyway.
Yeah, like January is such a like weird. I'm pretty sure I talked about this, but like January is such a weird month to launch something because it's like. You're just a couple weeks out of Christmas or the holiday shopping season, whatever you want. Like, nobody's really spending money in January, really. It's February when things pick up again because it's like, all right, it's been like 6 weeks, so whatever.
Yeah, but they tweeted out, the Elden Ring team tweeted out saying Elden Ring will now release on February 25th of 2022 as the depth and strategic freedom of the game exceeded initial expectations. Thank you for your trust and patience. We look forward to seeing your experience in the game in the closed network test in November. So there is going to be a way to play in November. I don't know if you guys know signed up for that, but that's going to be possible. But we will be getting it in February, and I appreciate them being transparent and saying, "Hey, this is what this is what's going on." And again, for some reason I never really felt like that game was coming in January, so it's like, oh yeah, this makes sense. This is now in February, so that's cool. I am very curious about it. This is another one that, isn't necessarily up my alley, just like Jim, but I am curious to see what it is because of the fantasy aspect, and George R. Martin's involved. It's like, what is happening here? What is going on? So I gotta look at it at least and see what's going on. And then we talked about a lot of fandom stuff in the movie cast with all of the TV and the movies, but they did talk a little bit about games. and they showed some new cinematic trailers. Mike, let's hear about the Gotham Knights trailer. I know that's your favorite.
Well, so last year we had gameplay. We had a lot of gameplay. This year we don't have gameplay. We have a trailer that looks interesting. It's not a bad trailer.
No, they went heavy on the Court of Owls in this game for the trailer.
If you recall, that was the ARG leading up to the reveal of this. It was all Court of Owls stuff. Yeah. Well, everyone still thought this was going to be a sequel to Arkham Origin from Montreal. But no, so we got that. We got the trailer. The trailer is fine, but to me, the fact that we had gameplay and now we don't this year sort of makes me double down on my theory that they did not like the initial reaction to what they showed, and they're reworking it more than initially.
Oh, I'm sure they're getting crunched to hell. Absolutely, 100%.
No doubt. And the thing that's crazy is that the gameplay was nothing to do with Court of Owls last year, and then the little teaser at the end was a Court of Owls thing, and now this is all just Court of Owls. It's like, you know what? Let's just go all in on Court of Owls because everybody loves that.
That's what it was. But there's so much mixed messaging about this game. There really is. You see the gameplay from before, and you talk Then you see all these level indicators, and they say, oh, you can drop in and
Damage,
out co-op anytime.
numbers popping.
Yeah. So drop in and out co-op at any time leads me to believe that there's not going to be any sort of curated specific character stuff in the game, pretty much.
Hmm.
Wouldn't you think if you could be any character, or they could go 2 player, 1 player in any mission, then it's not going to, like, some people would argue with me, is like, oh, that doesn't matter. They could still, tell good stories, but relative to the previous like stuff, Arkham stuff, it's not the same universe. But there was a time and place for each character. Like if you were Batman, you were doing Batman stuff, and Robin was somewhere, or if you were Catwoman, there was a reason for that, and the level and the story made it make sense. But if you can drop in and out co-op like that at any time, I kind of think the story's going to suffer for it. But again, who knows? Because that game shown last year might not be what's released anymore, because
Yeah.
there's no gameplay
And
now, and we don't have a
it's
release date or anything else. Just a
next
year
year.
now,
Yeah.
which could mean anything. But I don't see it happening in the first half of the year, especially if they didn't show a single second of gameplay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was saying. Like we know pretty much the slate of Q1 2023 games. Like, if you're coming out and you don't have that release date already, like, fuck off.
Mhm.
Like, fuck you. You're not. You're just saying that. Because every company wants to rush things out, because most companies have their fiscal years end March 31st. So we can already determine that this game pretty much can only come out April and forward. So it's like, you're still not showing, like Mike is saying, you're still not showing gameplay. You showed us gameplay last year. Why aren't we getting gameplay now?
And the biggest thing for me too, and this goes with Suicide Squad as well, but they didn't even talk about the game. Like last year, they talked about the game with the developers afterwards. They had like discussions of what they were going to be doing and things like that. They didn't even do that. It's just like, here's a trailer and get ready because it's coming at some point. So
Completely
that to me
cinematic. I
was
don't
the
know.
biggest.
I don't know if
That was the most telling.
I don't know if any of it was in game. Some of it did look a little more janky than other parts of it, so maybe some of it was in game. I'm not
I mean,
sure,
I'm
but
I'm
assuming
sure
some of
they're
the like
using
cinematic.
in-game engine,
Yeah.
whatever. But like, I
yeah,
don't give a shit about that. Like, show me actual.
You're not
what I'm
controlling the
gonna play.
character, so it doesn't really matter.
yeah, obviously, yeah.
Nope. Yeah,
So
so that was
again,
Gotham
as a
Knights.
cinematic trailer, it was okay, but
The thing is, I
in the
love Court of
context
Owls,
of
and I'm
what this
super
is,
excited for the Court of Owls storyline. But
it's another thing too. Like Court of Owls without Batman.
right,
Like,
and that's the thing is, but it's like you're taking away what like the New 52 storyline of Batman, like that doesn't exist now. If you're saying he's not, like they start off as he's dead, so we'll see. I
which,
doubt it.
of course, we don't believe completely, but still,
Yeah.
like, I doubt he would like be a major part of the game though for most of the story. So,
Mhm.
um, so that's
And that's
that.
Gotham Knights. But that wasn't the only thing they showed. They did show us a story trailer for the Suicide Squad, which is the same continuation or universe of the Arkham games.
Yes.
So what did we see there, Mike?
So for that, we started out with a direct callback to the beginning of Arkham Asylum, which I liked. It's like, okay, if you're going to make this game, that doesn't make sense to be in the Arkhamverse compared to the other one, which would have made more sense. I'm still convinced they fought back and forth about who would actually continue the Arkhamverse and who would make their
Mm-hmm.
own game. And I think it might have switched since the premise of Gotham Knights seems like the end of Arkham Knight so much, so that it pretty much is. They probably switched back. Rocksteady's like, no, this is ours. Fuck you. Even though we said we wanted to do something different. So they're doing something different, but bringing it back to Arkham. So they did their nice little homage to the beginning of Arkham Asylum. Showed them in Arkham there for a little bit, and then that's nothing to do with Arkham anymore right after that. So we get the Suicide Squad thing. It seems very familiar, very much like almost like it was meant to be a tie-in with the movie that just came out. The only difference is now we finally got to see Justice League characters in game. Well, not in game, in the cinematic, but their take on these characters that they're fighting. So we see more of Superman. We see a bit of Flash, and Green Lantern was there, and I think that was Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman and Batman.
Or
I think
or
Batman. Or no.
no, we don't see
I thought it was
Batman.
Bat
Batman
something.
again would be. We see a Bat car.
Yeah. That's it.
Um, I think again, just like the other game, we expect Batman to show up later, but he's supposed to be dead, or whatever you take away from the true ending of Arkham Knight, whatever that means. But still no gameplay. That's the big thing. So we don't even know what this game is, gameplay wise at this point. When they described it last year again, it sounded a little shooty, which is not encouraging. But we don't know what it is. So, now I told you my theory about how they probably fought back and forth about who continues the Arkham storyline. My theory with this game, since we've heard like there's cancellations and redos and this was forever before it was revealed, I think they tried to make a Justice League game, realized they couldn't pull it off with the diverse powers that each of them had. So they're like, let's just make them bosses. So now they made all of the Justice League characters bosses, and you're just going to be generic shooty guys going up against Justice League bosses.
Yeah.
I think that's how this game came about, honestly.
I think there could be something interesting there, though, like because they have done good boss fights. So if you're talking about like, hey, you're gonna make boss fights, but now we're gonna actually fight the Justice League, that sounds interesting.
But they haven't done good boss fights.
They did a couple good boss fights. Like Mr. Freeze was a good boss
out of
fight.
like a trilogy.
I'm saying that it's happened.
The gameplay doesn't lend itself to boss fights.
And I accept that. I understand that. That's totally fine.
But this game,
I'm just saying it doesn't instill me with confidence that
it's
like, we're gonna give you great boss fights. It's like, you gave me like 2 maybe, I guess.
No, the thing for me is like, while Harley Quinn is a cool character and it's like fun, like, do you really need to be playing as her? Like,
I will say, like, this doesn't have to do necessarily just with the games, but like the movies and whatever. Like, the more I see of anything Suicide Squad, anything branded Suicide Squad, the less I actually wind up caring about this. Like, it's not just the movies, although those are the biggest offenders because those get marketed to hell and back. But the animated series, like the comics, like the game now.
Well, Suicide Squad wouldn't even be a thing if it wasn't for Harley Quinn, right? And so like Harley Quinn's front and center for this team, but like she's fun as a side character, and like she's got quirky attitude and like neat gimmicks and stuff. But as a main character, I don't know if the focus on her is she can carry it as well. And we've seen that it's not been successful in the movies and stuff.
And plus, let's be honest, do we actually expect any Justice League characters to actually die in this game?
No, of course not.
Right? Like I would be over the moon.
The game's called Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League.
Kill the Justice League. I would actually clap. I would give Rocksteady a standing ovation if they actually had the balls to fucking kill multiple members of the Justice League. I would be like, like, good job.
Maybe they'll kill a Green Lantern.
Yeah, it's a joke. Like,
no, I don't see any of the characters getting killed at all.
To be fair, these are the people who wrote probably my favorite version of Joker's death. So, and they did that in their second game in the franchise. So it's not beyond the range of possibility that they would kill off someone unsuspectingly, surprisingly. But
maybe Martian Manhunter gets killed.
But this is going to what I hinted at in the movie cast, where it's just like I hate this whole trope of like, oh, the good guys are under mind control or whatever, and I'm just like, that's the thing. It's like we know nobody's gonna die. We know nobody's gonna die.
Purple eyes.
Yeah, and I guarantee, like, I will bet with a 99% confidence level that it's fucking Brainiac. Like, there's a point where, like, this Transformer looking... Yeah. But there's, like, this Transformer motherfucking looking drill alien thing. I'm like, that's the thing from Revenge... Or, Dark of the Moon or whatever like that. I'm just like, come on, man. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I know what's gonna happen. I've seen it in the cartoon series. I've seen it in Justice League animated series. I don't give a fuck anymore. I just don't give a fuck. Like, come up with something new, please. Fuck.
Ugh. Yeah, and then what they're hoping for here is that you're getting to experience it and play it, I guess, is what makes it new and different. Yeah. But we'll see. I have hope that Rocksteady can put something fun together, but we'll see. I mean, I absolutely believe that this is not a 2022 game. That's for sure.
Yeah, out of these two, I definitely feel this one has the more likelihood of being delayed again.
Yeah. So, and those are the two big games from DC fandom. They did show one other thing, which is a mobile game,
It's
but
not
they
even
didn't even
worth talking
show
about.
it.
It's
They
not
didn't
even
even
worth
show
talking
it. They
about.
just yep. They just hey, here's something else. And that's at DC fandom.
Yeah,
So
and I was hoping for Injustice 3 announcement. I thought I read somewhere that Boone was going to be
He was
they
there.
there.
talked he was there. He was at the fandom, but he was talking about the movie. He was not
The
talking about the
adaptation.
games. Yeah. So
So,
but yeah, so that's DC. We did have one more thing on our news here, which was the Switch Online Plus expansion pack launching next week.
Yep.
Tony, what's
Yeah,
that
so
about?
this was interesting because they dropped this at the end of the Animal Crossing Direct that happened last week, and just to recap that, 'cause, I don't know you guys play that, but they're doing the final free DLC update to that game coming November 5th, I think, or something like that. But they're also doing a paid $25 substantial DLC, which actually looks like it's a lot of things that people wanted, quality of life wise and new content wise. And it's also dropping the same day. And at the end of this direct, they're like, and also, if you don't want to pay the $25 just to get the DLC, you can get it included as part of the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack service. And they gave pricing details. So, just on the onset again, to set expectations. So you can continue doing the regular Nintendo Switch Online, $20 a year for single, $35 for Family Pass. If you just want to play online and have access to NES and SNES games and whatever 99 titles they came up with, Tetris and Pac-Man. But if you want the N64, if you want Genesis, and now Animal Crossing DLC, you can get all of that for the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, which is $49.99 a year for the individual and $79.99 for the family pack. So that ruffled some internet feathers because I don't think people were anticipating it, first of all, but also the price was higher than most people expected because they're like, oh, just maybe 10 or 20 bucks, and it's like essentially doubling, a little bit more than doubling in the US anyway and stuff like that. But they're giving you pretty substantial DLC. Like the DLC would cost $25 right off the bat, so it's like...
Right.
If you had any hopes of picking that up, I mean, you might as well just sub for a year. You don't retain it, the DLC, after you unsubscribe, but, I mean, most people only played for a year and then, kind of dipped for a little while and stuff like that. But, yeah, it's an interesting, in my opinion, move for Nintendo to do because we've talked about it, and I actually added a bit of news about Game Pass, but... So Microsoft's whole thing is they can't really compete with Nintendo or Sony on a first-party title perspective. At least 99% of it.
Exclusive.
Right,
Yeah.
exclusive
Anyway,
stuff.
they don't seem to care about that.
So their Game Pass thing is like, hey, well, you can get all that plus this third-party content stuff for one low price.
Like Avengers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But Nintendo and to a lesser extent Sony, like they can sell 10 million copies of Mario, Zelda, God of War, Horizon easily, snap of the fingers. So it doesn't make sense to give that away, even if you're paying $100 a year. Like you buy 2 titles, they make more money off of that than your yearly subscription. Right. So their goal is they want to sell you a subscription on top of the games and stuff like that. So it's interesting that maybe Nintendo is going to give you the DLC for the subscription price, get you to buy the game, but we'll give you all the DLC for free. And I think what kind of took the wind out of some people's sails with it is like, it's just the Animal Crossing DLC, because it's like, well, if you didn't want Animal Crossing at all, like you don't even have the game, it's like, oh, I'm paying, like all of a sudden I'm paying extra for DLC that I don't want. But if they had like announced like, hey, we're, like next year, because like Splatoon 3 is coming out, it's like you'll get the Splatoon 3 DLC when that comes available, or even go backwards, like, hey, like you get the Smash Brothers fighter packs for free or something like that. Like I think that would have helped show what you're getting, like both here and now, but also like in the future, because a lot of people are just like,
and
like,
the value that you're
right.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm surprised that wasn't the case, because it did sound like we were saying like Game Pass is such a good deal for people that are kind of jumping from game to game, and you just get a whole library of stuff just right there. And then you have Sony, where it's like, for me, I'm looking for PlayStation 5 because I want to be able to play the exclusives,
Yep.
and so I know I can play a lot of the Game Pass games on the computer. So I don't necessarily care to get the Xbox Series X as much as the PlayStation 5. And then with Nintendo, that would have been really neat to be like, hey, we're gonna increase the price. You can get all this stuff, which is great for nostalgia purposes. But in the future, like if you buy our game, you do not have to worry about DLC. I think that would have been an amazing, step forward. And I think this is that step, but it's not like the full step that we wanted. It's kind of just like a little tease. It's like, here's just a little teaser of what you could be be doing.
And it's a shame because I think if they had done like, hey, like they start up like, hey, you can get this Animal Crossing DLC included with your Nintendo Switch Expansion Plus, membership now, and also go back, be like whatever title is between today and 2017, like Zelda Breath of the Wild DLC. Like I really doubt that DLC is being sold as much as it was when it came out 2 years ago. Right?
Dude, man, like Xenoblade DLC, that would be awesome.
Yeah, Xenoblade DLC is like, I mean that's a whole game in itself. Like that would have been essentially the closest thing to like a virtual game, stuff like that. But like Fire Emblem, Luigi's like they had all this like DLC, and it's like, they're not at that level where like they've, planned all this stuff out yet, because they didn't adopt these kind of things until the Switch was successful. So I expect some growing pains, but I do think if they continue to morph that a little bit, and we see like, hey, that now you're gonna get Nintendo DLC for a year when you sign up for the thing, because like if let's just say they had announced this stuff 2 years ago with the Smash Pass, I think the reaction would have drastically changed. Because people would have been like, absolutely. Smash Brothers? Like, hell yeah, I'll take the next year of Smash Brothers characters included in the subscription price, because it's not like you can play the fucking game online without it anyway. So it's like, there you go, and stuff like that. But, I despite the price, I think it's still worth a deal, and especially they're really generous with the family plan. I mean, you can share
that's the other thing. Yeah, you can get a bunch of people to get in on it together. So that's great.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that. And then, I mean, the other thing is, people don't like to talk about this, but things cost money, So if you want to see more games on...
And things get more expensive, not less expensive.
Yes, exactly. As time goes by. Exactly. It's like, if you want to see...
Inflation's a thing. Who knew?
Right. Because...
Not for games.
It's unfortunate because, Nintendo games, I would argue that.
But inflation is still a thing. It's just like people are losing money now instead of like because the prices have changed.
So it's just really weird because people want more games, but the thing is, like with like NES Online and the Super Nintendo Online, Nintendo for the most part has given out 95% of their catalog. So those systems, unless they can get third-party content, you're not going to see that. Like that's why you're not seeing the Mega Man games. That's why you're not seeing like Final Fantasy games. Because Capcom and Square Enix know that they can release those on their own and make money. Like Square just did those pixel remasters and are selling them for like $15 a piece. Why they fucking let Nintendo give it to you for free for a slice of a $20 per year subscription fee? Like it doesn't make sense. So if you want to see more stuff like that on the service, Nintendo has to pay those people more money. And, $20 or $50, that's a bigger pie to share and stuff like that. So we'll see if it plays out. Yeah, I don't know.
It's growing, though. It's at least a step forward in an interesting direction, and I'm appreciative of what they're offering so far. So it's definitely worth it. It's definitely something there's value there still.
Right. And I have high hopes, especially, and I know I talked about when they first announced it, but like the fact that Rare is on board, Microsoft / Rare, I think is really, really good, because,
seeing Microsoft titles on the Switch too is amazing.
So got to have fingers crossed for that and hope that the first year they can really prove people like, I don't know about GoldenEye. I think that's like the pie in the sky, like Hail Mary kind of thing.
Yeah.
But even if we get like Diddy Kong Racing and Perfect Dark, like that'd be pretty good too.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Well, I think that'll do it for the Gamecast. Again, you guys can email us.
I don't know. We had MPD. Really.
Oh, MPD. Oh,
and
go for it.
Game Pass number.
Oh, geez, I didn't even see any of this stuff, guys. You cut me off. Here, you take over. I'll be right back.
Sure. So let's see. State of the market. Hardware was once again a primary driver of spending gains in September, increasing 49% compared to a year ago. Mobile and subscription offset declines across other segments to keep content spending flat versus a year ago. Let's see. So, for the hardware, PlayStation 5 was the best-selling hardware platform of September in both dollars and units. PlayStation 5 is the best-selling hardware platform of 2021 year-to-date in dollars, while Nintendo Switch still leads in units. This ends the remarkable 33 consecutive month streak that Nintendo Switch was the market's leading platform in hardware unit sales. November 2018 was the last month a platform other than Nintendo Switch led the market in unit sales, which was the PlayStation 4 for that month. Software, Madden NFL repeated as the best-selling game of the month, and now ranks as the number 2 best-selling game of 2021 year-to-date, and the 4th best-selling title of the 12-month period ending September 2021. Tales of Arise set a new launch month dollar record for any Tales of franchise, and the 4th best-selling game of the month. Life is Strange True Colors launches the number 10 best-selling game and generate the highest launch dollars for any Life is Strange title to date. And WarioWare debuted as the 15th best-selling game and achieved the highest launch month sales for a WarioWare title since Smooth Moves back in 2007. So looking at this, we have some notable new entries. It was a big month. FIFA 22 was number 2. NBA 2K22 was number 3. Tales of Arise number 4. Diablo 2 Resurrected at number 5. Number 6 was Deathloop. Number 10 was Life is Strange True Colors. 12 was Diablo Prime Evil Collection. Number 13 was Sonic Colors Ultimate. 15 was WarioWare. And unfortunately, Lost Judgment, nowhere to be found. So I'm wondering, yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And it really sucks too because fucking Sonic Colors, which we talked about, that port being notoriously shitty. Like multiple YouTubers and streamers have posted videos of how bad it is. Like it still ranks, and I'm just like, you know.
Is Deathloop the only exclusive next gen game that made it?
Yes. Yep.
Good for them. Yeah, that's again PlayStation. I'm trying to find one, not Russian, but like they're just selling as fast as they make them. So like, it's crazy. A year later, I mean, I never would have imagined a year later that this would still be like, if you don't get on top of it in the first 10 minutes, you're not getting.
Yeah. But that's it for NPD. Otherwise, looking pretty strong. And then the other thing I put there really quick was that Xbox Game Pass subscriptions missed Microsoft's internal target. So for the 12-month period that ended on June 30th, which is a while ago, but we just get reports of it, in October, Xbox Game Pass subscriber growth was up 37%, which sounds impressive, but the company had set a 48% growth goal.
Yeah, it's it. I don't know what that means for them, because it just seems like, how do they just keep giving these games to people to play for free? It feels like for free, but like you are paying for it, obviously. But yeah, they keep coming out with deals for Game Pass and stuff. So I'm curious how that model works.
I think that I heard that they give the developers like a flat sum for a certain amount of time. So now I don't know what that really means as far as what.
They gotta make it worth it though for them. It's gotta be pretty big if it's.
Sure.
But there was something else.
It got eyes on Avengers, and just finally people playing it. Hey, guess what? Maybe who is it? Is it Crystal Dynamics?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should seriously consider. They want to be predatory. They need to talk to Sony. They say Spider-Man can be free on PlayStation and paid on Xbox.
Sony wouldn't go for it. Like, I'm sure Crystal Dynamics was like, please.
They would, because I have to imagine the vast majority of their player base is playing this game on Game Pass now.
Could be.
Yeah, I mean, the first month was expected because, I mean, you went from, practically nobody to a whole, a plethora of people that were just like, I could download this.
They have.
Yeah.
Like that. They have 60 million subscribers, 1% of that. So. But like, there was actually something else with Xbox. They announced that they're gonna have on November 15th a big 20th anniversary celebration for Xbox and Halo.
Yeah, it was really interesting, the wording, because I think they said like don't expect any new
Yeah,
game
no,
news or
that's what I was
something
gonna
like
get to. Is like we're gonna do this whole event, but we're just gonna talk about the past, not the future, because there is no games for the future, guys. Let's just reminisce. So, yep,
that.
there's that.
It's such a
I mean,
shame
there
because
is Halo supposedly coming out in like a month and a half, but
no, there's
And I mean, the Halo console, you got a free download of the Halo Infinite game.
free download of
But
nothing.
yeah, like what are we getting?
Congratulations. Congratulations. It's unfortunate because they got to figure out their content thing, and this is what I'm talking about because I remember even Jim, and unfortunately he's not here to defend himself. But like over the years, every time Microsoft is like buying out companies, like it's like more content. I'm just like it's been years, dude. It's been an entire generation, and we still have content issues on the Xbox platform. Like why? What is so hard about this? Like why can Nintendo and Microsoft or Nintendo and Sony do this? And Microsoft is like, you get your bi-yearly Forza. Like I don't know. And
That's
it's such a
really
shame.
all they have, right? Is Forza and maybe now Flight Simulator. It's like, what else is exclusive? Because
I guess
Halo.
soon we're gonna get Starfield, I guess. In
Soon.
theory.
Oh, okay.
Soon.
One day, just
day.
like we got
Maybe not.
Scalebound.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that should wrap us up here, guys.
Ending on a bad note.
Hey, it's a celebration of the 20th year anniversary. 20 years of Xbox is pretty crazy. Like I remember creating my first gamer tag, and unfortunately, I don't have that gamer tag anymore.
Yeah.
Because I named it Jesus.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I still have my old I never changed my logo thing, so I have one of those tiny 360 things
Nice.
for my avatar picture or whatever.
I don't even
it
know
looks
what happened
really
to my gamer tag. It just got taken away or something. But
Hmm.
anyway, 20 years, it's pretty crazy. So in any case, that'll do it for 567. Thank you for listening. We do have an email. You can email us at allyoucangeek@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and check out the YouTube channel. We have our videos up there of the podcasts, as well as on any podcasting location you get your podcast from. I'm sure you can find it. So with that, we are out.